Sometimes to make it to the NFL and to stay there, players have to adapt. And some realize their talents may have worked for one position in college, but it won't translate to the next level. Players may have to adapt to keep playing the game they love, even if it wasn't the position their hearts were set on. So here are 10 players who had to switch positions after college, or even in the middle of their NFL careers. The pass thrown by Antwaan Randle to seal the Steelers' victory in Super Bowl 43 was just a little too perfect for a receiver, right? That's because Randle was a quarterback at Indiana. He set a freshman record in his first game, with 467 yards from scrimmage. At the time of his graduation, he was fifth in total yards with 7,469 passing yards and 3,895 rushing yards. Pittsburgh drafted him in the second round in 2002, with the intent of switching him to receiver and a returner. His receiving stats were always solid, but never overly impressive. He did, however, have a career passer rating of 156.1. Randle threw 6 touchdown passes, but his pass to Hines Ward on the gadget play in the Super Bowl will forever be his biggest claim to fame. Number 9. Devin Hester. When you think of Devin Hester, you don't think of him as anything but the most explosive return man of all time. Hester holds many NFL records as a returner, including 20 career return touchdowns, most punt return touchdowns in a season with 4, and 2 kickoff return touchdowns in the game. He also holds just about every Chicago Bears return record. What we don't realize though is that Devin Hester was drafted as a cornerback in 2006, even though he had played a variety of different roles in college. Desperate for playmakers on offense, the Bears made Hester their number 1 wide receiver. Hester had some success as a receiver, but he wasn't suited to be the number 1 option. Number 8. Josh Cribbs. Josh Cribbs was one of the NFL's elite returners in his prime, but his talent was never fully appreciated by casual NFL fans, as he was stuck on some terrible Browns teams. Cribbs' journey to the NFL was interesting, as he was Kent State's all-time passing leader in 4 years as a starting quarterback. He is the only player in NCAA history to lead his team in rushing and passing in 4 seasons. Despite all that, he went undrafted. Cribbs would end up being a multiple-time Pro Bowler and made the All-Decade team of the 2000s. Number 7. Brian Mitchell. Brian Mitchell had a tremendous career in college as a quarterback. Playing for Southwestern Louisiana, Mitchell became the first collegiate player to throw for over 5,000 yards and rush for over 3,000 yards in his career. However, the NFL at the time still wasn't open to the idea of quarterbacks running around, so the Washington Redskins drafted Mitchell in the 5th round of the 1990 NFL Draft to return kicks, something he had never done in college. Mitchell played in the NFL for 14 years as a third down back and one of the most explosive returners of all time. He holds the record for combined kick and punt return yards with 19,013. Most impressively, he is second only to Jerry Rice in career all-purpose yards with 23,330 yards, just over 200 yards behind Jerry Rice. Number 6. Julian Edelman. Imagine going from perhaps the best quarterback in school's history to being the underdog and working your way up in the NFL as a receiver. That's what Julian Edelman did, as he set several school records at Kent State, including Cribbs' single-season record for total offense. Edelman would be selected in the 7th round by New England back in 2009. Many felt he was underused in his first few years in New England, but that all changed once the Pats moved on from Wes Welker. Edelman broke out in 2013, recording 105 catches for 1,056 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was a key target for Brady in his time with New England. He's also one of the best playoff performers in NFL history. He's currently 3rd all-time in playoff receiving yards with over 1,400 yards receiving. Number 5. Charles Woodson. Woodson switched to safety after so many years as a corner, allowed him to keep playing well into his 30s and nearing his 40s. He was drafted 4th overall back in 1998, and after all those years, he still had a long career, perhaps being the most successful Heisman winner at the professional level. Woodson started his career in Oakland before signing a big contract with the Green Bay Packers back in 2006. After many great years in Green Bay, including the Super Bowl, Woodson switched to safety back in 2012 to fill the void of an injured Nick Collins. Woodson returned to Oakland in 2013 and was still a good player. In his last season at the age of 39, Woodson was an All-Pro and finished that season with 5 interceptions. Number 4. Terrelle Pryor. Pryor was one of the best players in the country at Ohio State. He won 2 Big Ten championships in 2008 and 2009 while playing quarterback, and the Raiders drafted him as a quarterback. He ended up bouncing around the league for a few years and had little success as an NFL quarterback, and in 2015, Pryor decided to switch his position to receiver. In 2016, he had over 1,000 yards receiving, but never came close to that number again, and he was out the league by 2018. Number 3. Matt Jones. Jones was an exceptional college quarterback. He ran a 4.4 40-yard dash time and he was a 6'6", 240-pound quarterback. His elite size and speed convinced NFL coaches that he make more of an impact at receiver. At the time, he was the SEC's all-time leader rusher from the quarterback position. The Jaguars drafted him 21st overall in 2005 to play receiver, but at the NFL level, Jones never quite materialized into the elite playmaker many envisioned. After a series of substance abuse problems, Jones retired from the NFL in 2010. Number 2. Dante Hall. Dante Hall transitioned from being a running back at Texas A&M to being a receiver and a kick returner in the NFL. After being drafted in 2000, he ended up playing receiver and became the league's most dangerous return man. In 2003, Hall set an NFL record with a return touchdown in 4 straight games. Hall's career would mostly flourish as a returner. To this day, Hall holds the Chiefs franchise record for return touchdowns with 11. He also holds the record for the most punt returns for touchdowns with 5. Number 1. Rod Woodson. After a stellar career in Pittsburgh as a corner, Rod Woodson followed in Ronnie Lott's footsteps, transitioning to safety, where he continued his career with San Francisco, Baltimore, and Oakland. Woodson would win his only Super Bowl as a safety with Baltimore and made it to another one with the Raiders. In his late 30s, Woodson recorded a career-high 8 interceptions, helping the Raiders reach the big game. Woodson would end up being one of the best players of all time and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2009. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If there's anyone you think I missed, please let me know in the comment section.